Hello, fellow book-loving friends. Thank you for joining me for Spill the Tea with Dee Book Chat. My name is Dee Armstrong. I'm a writer, book lover, tea-aholic, gardening ninja, and my grandma name is Lolly. I would like to introduce you to Dewana. She's my future daughter-in-law. Go ahead and tell everyone about yourself, Dewana.
Hi, my name is Dewana Ford. I am, again, like she said, Dee's future daughter-in-law. I am an EMT in paramedic school. Dreams to hopefully become a doctor one day. Love science and lots of crafts.
And she's awesome. And I'm so blessed to have her in my life. Please go ahead and say hello in the chat so I can enter you to win the drawing. Today we're spilling on When I Found You by Brenda Novak. Can you show them the book? Has a beautiful cover. We're giving away a signed copy to one lucky friend here today, plus a signed copy of your choice of one of my books, Visions of Emerald, Haunted by Amethyst, and Sleepwalking with Ruby. Those are my three. Thank you, Miss Vanna. When I Found You, switch this to When I Found You. When I Found You by Brenda Novak, an NYT best-selling author. She has an amazing website with lots of reader goodies. Take time to check out her website. She has so much to offer readers that my head was spinning. It's amazing. She gives away these little, she doesn't give them away. Let me rephrase that. She has these reader boxes that you can sign up for on a monthly basis that have prizes and goodies and a signed book in them. And I ordered one. I can't wait for it to come in. So check out her website. Now, this novel was supposed to be November's Spill the Tea pick. For October, I was reading Dinner on Primrose Place, but I didn't pay attention when I ordered the books, and that book won't come in until after Christmas. So we had to do a little switcheroo for our books. But this book has a beautiful cover, and I'd love to write a book like this that would have this type of cover. It's beautiful. You can feel that it's going to be a heart-tugging book, but I can't, as an author, I keep killing off my characters in my books, so I will probably never have a sweet, beautiful cover like that. Every time I think I'm going to write a sweet novel, I kill someone off and it just goes right out the door. Let's do a quick recap. The main character is Dr. Natasha Sharp, and I just want you to know someday Dewana is going to be a doctor, which is really good for me because I'm a kind of a hypochondriac. So if she ends up being a doctor and so does my son, I am set for life. But back to the book. Dr. Natasha Sharp is the main character, and she's a pediatrician who lost her practice when it was discovered that her nurse was hurting children for attention. It's called Munchausen by proxy. It's a disease. And I thought that this was crazy funny because those of you that follow on my newsletter, you know that I'm writing a book called Driftwood, which has a similar theme in it of Munchausen by proxy. So writers' minds, it must have been in the ether. Not only did Natasha lose her practice, but also her marriage. She's bankrupt. She's starting over with her 6-year-old son, Lucas, as a school nurse. Then enter the love interest, Mac Ames. Stepbrother by marriage and heartthrob by sight, Mac helps Natasha move and get settled in Silver Springs. Mac can't help but wonder if Lucas is really his son from the one time he and Natasha pushed aside wisdom and allowed their feelings to run wild. Let's go through some of the characters. Now we have Natasha. She's the main character. She had a rough childhood where her druggy mom went from man to man. She turned her life around with the love and support of her 5 stepbrothers from her mom's marriage to Mac's father. And then we have Mac. Do you want to introduce Mac?
So Mac is the youngest of her 5 stepbrothers from a short marriage, as I mentioned before, from Natasha's mom to their father. Kind of weird to say you're in love with your stepbrother, but just kind of think of them as the Brady Bunch.
Do you know who the Brady Bunch
I do know
is?
who the Brady Bunch is. I used to watch that show all the time.
I'm like, I wonder if she's old enough to know.
No, I do. I do spend a lot of time with grandparents. So.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
So yeah, so you had to have the two sets of families. Parents are married and already have the set of kids, which they never bring up that much in Brady Bunch, but it's that same kind of
that's
dynamic.
True.
Yeah,
that's true. It's super awkward to explain to people. I love her, but she's my stepsister. That sentence needs a huge disclaimer.
Yes.
Then we have Lucas, Natasha's super cute 6-year-old son. And we have
Ace, who is Natasha's spoiled, lazy ex.
And the stepbrothers, Dylan, Aaron, Rod, and Grady. And then we have Grady.
And this is the stepbrother who gives the most grief. He loves to judge. He loves hard, but he judges hard. He's kind of cast as the bad guy brother.
And then we just a shout out to Anya, which is Natasha's mom, and JT, which is Mac's dad. And they are completely, JT's off screen, as you could say, or off stage. You hear about him, but he doesn't actually come up in the novel. He doesn't have a speaking part in the novel. Now, let's see. Brenda Novak was super clever. Where I Found You is driven by burning questions the reader must know the answer to. The first question, of course, is, will Natasha and Mac be able to tune out all their problems created by their family and focus on love? Will they find love together? The second question is, who is Lucas's father? Mac or
Mac or Ace. Ace, the actual husband. Yes.
Sorry. Poor Dewana, I throw these things at her. She doesn't know I'm going to ask her these things. But
Mac or Ace.
Yeah, but Mac, you got to kind of take a step back on this one, because it sounds like Natasha slept with 2 men at the same time. She had a one night with Mac where they let their feelings take over. And then she went and she knew that wasn't going to work, that her family would never allow the two of them to be together. And so she focused on Ace. And then 6 years later, she wasn't quite sure who the father was. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. They made it very clear that there wasn't necessarily overlap. It was just, I think they said they weren't in a committed relationship at that time.
Yeah. And then the third question is, what makes a man a father? DNA or LOVE? Now, I struggled with this because I really knew who I wanted to be the father.
Yeah, same.
And when I know we spill here. Let's just spill. Mac is the father. Okay. Mac's the father. And Ace is the father. Ace is the father. Too. I wanted Mac to be the father, but Ace ended up being the father. And when I heard that, I was like, I really wanted Mac to be the father. But then I thought, you can't have everything all fairy tales and lovely. It is still real life that you try to create with these characters in the books. And so I thought, okay, fine. Ace can be the father.
Fair enough.
How did you feel about it?
I felt kind of the same way, because there was at one point where, immediately Ace is like, when he feels like there's a possibility that it's not his child, he's like, I'm out. I don't want anything else to do with him. And then Mac the whole time is just, I want this to be my son. And he's already invested. So it is kind of heartbreaking, but
yeah. I actually don't think Mac cared if it was his son. I mean, he wanted him to be his son, but I think he recognized that he wanted to have a relationship with Lucas and definitely with Natasha, no matter what.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. And then the driving question at the end, did Natasha's mom shoot Mac's father, and will Mac's father live? And then I thought, see, I can kill someone in a book and still have that pretty cover. I can still do it.
And he lived.
Then he lived. He lived, and I thought, no, you can't do it. So let's go to, who, Dewana, was your favorite character?
I like Natasha. I really liked her. Because, for two reasons. Was because she was vulnerable. And so a lot of times they kind of like to cast, especially female characters in healthcare as these harsh people. And I like that they made her vulnerable. And I especially like that they made her a really good person after everything she had been through. The lice poster that they had in the school, and like that was one of my favorite moments where she's just looking at it and she's thinking about how like other kids might feel because she had a negative experience as a child, like being embarrassed by having lice because of her negative experiences, and just the type of person who has bad experiences but still has the strength and the softness to be good to other people. I just really like that in that character. So
yeah, you know what is really funny about this is that I think this is what the 5th or 6th Spill the Tea we've done. And we have not had one of the main characters be our favorite character. And my favorite character in this one was Mac. And so the first time in a long time, the main characters for both of us were our favorites. I really liked Mac. He believed in her. He looked out for her. He struggled that what his family would say and think and do, but he put her first. He put their love first. And I like Mac because she was his world. She was his soulmate. And he realized how rare that was. If you are watching this live, go ahead and put in the chat who your favorite character was. Now, let's go to the favorite part. What was your favorite part?
I think I kind of I spilled it a little bit earlier, but I think one of the parts that was kind of hit me the most was, again, when she is walking into her new job as a school nurse, and she sees the poster of like the lice on the board and just thinks about how traumatic that would have been for her as a child to see that, because she did have lice and it was already embarrassing enough. And again, just her kind of reaching back and like just really being able to empathize with what some of the kids who a lot of people would just present as troubled. And she's just immediately able to empathize with that. And that's just so rare and so amazing. So
because she gets her job as a school nurse is at a school for troubled teens, which really worked well for her background. I don't think when she took the job, she thought of it that way. My favorite part that made me laugh was when Lucas picked up the phone, and I think he was talking to his grandparents, which is Ace's parents. And he was asked if Mac slept on the couch. And Lucas replied, "No, Mac doesn't sleep there. He sleeps with Mommy." And I thought, oh, busted, completely busted. Out of the mouths of babes.
For sure.
I thought that was really cute. There was a different part. There was so much conflict in this book. And I really liked that. Being a romance suspense writer is what I am. And so I used the suspense to drive the novel. And this book was driven by the family conflict. There was it. Let me start again. You can break it down into the conflict down into Natasha's ex, his parents, his mom, the past, how siblings and parents pull you apart. But all the conflict was different versions of one main theme, family. And the family really was a huge conflict in this book, because Mac, for their parents being, for Mac and Natasha's parents being so awful, I mean, really bad parents, Mac and Natasha really were connected to them and had a strong sense of family.
For sure.
Did you feel that way too?
I did, even with later in the book where Natasha's really trying to help Anya out, but then she gets to the point where she's like, I can only help you out so much because I have to think about my child. But just after all this that Anya put her through, she still loved her.
Yeah. It is a hard step or conversion, or however you want to think of it, because when you're a child, your family is your parents. But there comes a time in life, and you're gonna get this pretty soon because you're marrying Connor, where the two of you become the family. And even though you have that extended family, it comes down to the two of you, and this is the new nucleus that you're building. You know what I'm saying? So for Natasha, her nucleus was Lucas and then Mac, and so that was her focus then, because they're the ones that need you, right? But love, hate, anger, envy, what brings more conflict than family? They know how to hurt you, control you, manipulate you, and you're stuck with them. Why? Because they're family. Now, Natasha and Mac were torn between their family's wants and their family's expectations, and their love and their future. let me just say, if you're lucky enough to find the one you love, your soulmate, grab that opportunity and run. Life already makes it hard enough to build a future together without a family tearing you apart. Another real cool thing that Brenda did, and we actually talked about this earlier, and I try not to talk about the book before we're in here because things happen really from the cuff, but we did talk about this. Brenda tied in the mysterious sickness that hit Natasha and her mom, and I thought that was a nod to COVID without actually saying the name. And it showed that life struggles keep rolling, even in sickness, can't stop it. So tell me what you thought about that.
I 100% agreed. I kind of saw it as COVID has played out in everybody's lives, some people's more than others to different degrees. And it definitely kind of shapes things, because I don't know if Natasha hadn't gotten sick, if maybe she would have had the same level of vulnerability to Mac that she did.
Oh, that's good.
Because you're weaker when you're sick. So I definitely think it kind of shapes your life, but it kind of keeps going. And so it was nice that she didn't necessarily say COVID, because it's just so sad and we don't, need it in our books. But
yeah, I think we're all tired of the word.
Yeah, but it was something that a lot of readers today can probably empathize with.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Definitely. Now we're getting to the Smexometer. Now, the Smexometer is just kind of a fun thing. I rate books in hotness from 1 tea leaf to 10 tea leaves. And 1 tea leaf, you have romance books that are oh so sweet. They finally kiss and he asks her to be his girl. And you could hand that novel to your 15 or 16-year-old daughter. They're that sweet. In the middle are books where you sip and savor the romance. All the way to the end, where the 10 tea leaves are, where it's burn your tongue, hot, hot, hot. Tell me, Dawn, I'm going to let you go first. Where did you find this book on the Smexometer?
I'd give it probably about a 6. Like it wasn't like the most innocent, but it wasn't just so off-putting that, you kind of shied away from their relationship. It was a good balance.
Yeah. And it's not at all awkward to talk about sex with your daughter or your daughter-in-law. Just let me just say that. I'm sure she's just loving this experience. But I think it's funny. We both gave the book a 6 on the Smexometer. I enjoyed the smexiness when in the book When I Found You. I enjoyed the sexual relationship between Natasha and Mac. It was funny. It was playful. It was intense in places, but it was real life. So I did, on the hotness rate, I did give it a 6. It wasn't scald your tongue hot. It was heartfelt. Now, we are coming to the end and we give books away. Please put your name in the chat, whether you're seeing this in the Dee Armstrong's Book Loving Friends Facebook group or on my page or at my profile page. And we're giving away the Brenda Novak book. One lucky winner will win that, and you can also get your choice of my 3 books from my trilogy. Thank you. I love it when she's my Vanna. How could I have not a cuter Vanna, right? Before we end, I'd like to share with you why I started Spill the Tea. I want to grow as a writer. Part of that journey is reading books written by other people, reading great writing. Sometimes not so great writing, sometimes extraordinary writing that crawls inside you and becomes a part of you. I could have read the books by myself and said, yeah, that was fun. But I wanted to share with my book-loving friends and have fun with it. Now, our next Spill the Tea is November 13th. I'm giving you guys all the outlay. At 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're ramping up to the spirit of Christmas season. We're spilling on Dear Santa by Debbie McAmer. Beautiful cover, and it is signed. Debbie does a signed plate, it's called, which is a little sticker that they put in the book that she signs. So it is, I do have a signed copy of that to give away in November. And then we're going to continue with the spirit in December, the Christmas spirit, and Spill the Tea will be on December 11th at 2 p.m. And we're spilling on Keep Me Warm at Christmas by Brenda Novak. And it's a signed copy also. Ta-da! Well, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us.
Oh, and thank you for being a book loving friend.
You guys are the best. And as always, you'll find me writing on the porch. Hugs, bye. See you guys later.